Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Well, my next guest is making his premiere appearance on the program. I'm really excited to introduce you to him for the very first time. We'll definitely have him back again, too. His name is Kevin DeMerit, and he is the founder of Lear Capital. He's joining us live on camera now. Good morning, Kevin. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Austin. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. Well, first of all, I've already been kind of talking you up to the audience because I kind of have a fan base. We call them the Cantina Crew, and we all kind of like share information about what's happening with the show. We've had a lot of people over the last few months who have stepped in to kind of help the show to grow and have become like a base of supporters because, long term, what we really want to do is we want to turn this show into kind of a Liberty network. And so, when everybody heard that Lear Capital was coming on board as a sponsor for the program, people were just thrilled, super excited. So let me just first start the show by saying thank you so much for coming in as a sponsor for the program. It's a dream come true to be a libertarian who has a gold sponsor for their morning show. So thank you, Kevin.
Oh, great to be here, and I appreciate you as well.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here. And I think that a good way to talk to our listeners about the kind of services that you guys offer is to just kind of tell you a little bit about personal stories. So, I started the Wake Up America show about 3.5, 4 months ago. I left my radio job to go work for myself. And when I left my job, I had a 401k and had no idea what to do with it because I had never really done this kind of like a transfer before. And I didn't want to get hit with these tax obligations that I thought. So I said, okay, so I'll transfer it to a Roth IRA and maybe I'll just do some kind of traditional spending and stuff like that. But I'm always looking for new ways to invest my money that I haven't done before because my wife and I are always kind of like squirreling a little way here. I mean, we have some gold and silver coins, right? But I've always been interested in like these gold IRAs, but I don't really know much about them. Can you kind of explain to us a little bit about what Lear Capital does with this and how these work?
Yeah, the Gold IRA is about 50% of our business, actually, and it's very easy. It's exactly like a traditional IRA. If you have a 401k or a traditional IRA, you can transfer that to a Gold IRA, and it's all tax, free. There's no penalties or interest or anything when you do that. And now you have physical gold inside of your IRA. And it's easy to buy, easy to sell. You just pick up the phone. We do all the transfers for you for that physical metal. And then you get a statement showing you exactly what those values are. And, since the beginning of the year, people have been very happy that they have gold and silver in their portfolio because of what the stock market's been doing recently.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, with inflation has really taken a big bite out of my portfolio, and I do some investing in gold stocks and things like that. But I was curious when you get like a gold IRA. I mean, you're talking about it, physical gold here. I mean, do you guys hold the gold, or I mean, like, is it something like if what happens if I have to liquidate it for whatever reason, and I know I have to take a tax hit or there or something like that? I mean, like, would I get physical gold, or how would that work?
Yeah, great question. So each one of these IRAs have to be held by a custodian. So there's a custodian in between yourself and Lear that makes sure that that physical gold is there and make sure that all the rules and regulations that the IRA requires to make it tax deferred are all in place. But if you want to take physical possession of that metal, the reason that we work with this custodian called Equity is that they will allow you to actually take that physical possession. A lot of gold or silver custodians for IRAs make you liquidate and then take cash, and then you have to turn around and go buy the precious metal again. Ours does not. So you have either one of those options. You can sell it and take the cash, or you can take the physical possession of the metal.
To know. If you're just tuning in to the Wake Up America show with Austin Peterson, I'm introducing our new sponsor. Kevin DeMerit is the founder of Lear Capital, and he's joining us this morning. We're talking about gold-backed IRAs. If you have a question for Kevin, send us a text at 573-319-1586. Again, if you have a question about gold or silver or about gold-backed IRAs, send us a text, 573-319-1586. And while we've got him here, I'll try and make sure that I get a chance to ask him that question. Simple question, Kevin. One of our listeners the other day, they're a big, into the silver trade. They love to buy silver. Do you guys offer silver as well?
Yeah, we're one of the largest dealers in the United States. So gold, silver, platinum, palladium, even the older issue, collectible type coins. We offer all of the metals, precious metals, investor type metals that are available.
Great, great, good to know. And so, I mean, and of course, you've got precious metals like gold and things like that. Where is gold at right now in the marketplace in regards to the dollar? Has it gone up a lot lately? Because as we've seen inflation rise, typically you see gold increase in value as well. So, what's been going on with the markets?
Yeah, in the past 60 days, the gold price is up around 7%. It's up around $6 today. And one of the big reasons, Austin, that the precious metals market is getting a lot of attention in the past 60 days is that central banks have purchased 650 tons of gold, with 60% of that coming within the last 60 days. Now, a lot of the listeners are thinking, okay, I don't know what 650 tons is. Is it a lot? Is it small? Well, in since 1967 was the last time that central banks purchased the amount of gold that they've purchased this year, which is very interesting because 1967 was right before the 1970s inflation run that had gold go up 900%. The other reason I think that's interesting is central banks are not speculators, day traders. So they hold that gold for 10, 15, 20, 30 years at a time. So when you put an increase in demand like the central banks have on a fixed supply, and we can only pull so much gold out of the ground, you're going to get higher prices. And that's what we've seen in the past 60 days. I would expect through 2023, especially with the recession, you'll get much, much higher gold prices through the next 12 to 18 months.
If you're just tuning in to the Wake Up America show with Austin Peterson, you can send us a text at 573-319-1586. Make sure you click like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can get notifications whenever we go live, which is Mondays through Fridays, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. I'm speaking to Kevin Demerit. He is the founder of Lear Capital and the new sponsor of the Wake Up America show, helping us to build a new golden future for the show, and we're excited to have him here. Talk to us a little bit about how gold fits into a portfolio with stocks and bonds. I mean, how do you kind of balance it? So, I've got stocks, I've got bonds, I've got Roth IRA, I've got a bunch of guns and World War II collectibles, right? And I whenever I buy something now, if I spend a lot of money, typically, I always say it has to be something that's either going to hold its value or increase in value over time. I know gold does that, but let's say if I have all these other investment, portfolios, how much should I, like, have in gold in terms of, like, a percentage of my portfolio, would you say, just as a good hedge?
Yeah, that's a great question. And a lot of that determines, your age and where you are in life. If you're a little bit older, then the percentage is going to be a little tiny bit less because you're probably looking for income, and gold's obviously not going to produce the income, but it's going to give you the safety blanket while swan events happen with inflation, or driving planes into towers, and all the weird stuff that we can't predict in the future. But I think people are shocked, Austin, to find out that gold has actually outperformed the stock market since 2000. So typically the percentage that we recommend is 20%. And I'll give you a good reason why. If you would have had 20% of gold and 80% in stock starting in 2000, you would have 60,000 extra dollars in your pocket because of that gold addition. So 100% of the money in stocks at 100,000 would have been worth about 320,000 today, starting in the year 2000. 80% in stocks and 20% in gold would be worth 385,000. So you had 65,000 basically extra dollars in your bank account today by having that 20% position in precious metals.
One of our listeners over on the live stream this morning said, he says, "Do they sell osmium? Because like me, it's very dense." Very funny. You can send us a you, you can send us a comment as well over on the live stream. If you want to make sure that it gets read, you can send it as a super chat. But of course, you can always text us for free at 573-319-1586. Kevin, I was recently reading a report that our friend Rachel Mills wrote about cancel culture and its impact on culture and the economy. And one of the most important things that she brought up in this report that she wrote for you guys over at Lear Capital was the concept of canceling the American dollar. I mean, this is not a joke. This is something that is quite frequently talked about by foreign countries like Iran, countries like Russia and China, who would love to be able to move away from the petrodollar and move towards something that benefits them and favors their economies much better. I mean, is that the kind of thing that you guys are keeping an eye on, especially being in the gold business? Because I can imagine that, if you had a significant percentage of your portfolio in gold, that's the kind of thing that even if China or Iran or Russia were to take those kinds of drastic measures, then you'd be protected from it. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. You're already starting to see some of that and what we were talking about in the report. Russia has basically eliminated all of the US treasuries. China is doing the same thing. The Middle East has been reducing their supply of US treasuries. And they've been replacing it with gold. They've been purchasing about 3 times the amount of gold that they've been selling in US treasuries as a net over the past 6 or 7 years. And I think you're going to see that trend continue because the United States has just over borrowed from all of those countries, and people are starting to become concerned. Can we repay that debt? And the minute, they don't think you can repay that debt, then they've lost trust and the dollar would take a major hit. So yes, we want to watch that very, very closely. The trend is starting slowly, but I think it could speed up over the next 5 or 10 years.
We're speaking to Kevin Demerit. He is the founder of Lear Capital. Kevin, is there anything else that you think that our listeners should know before we let you go?
Yeah, I think with any investment, it's about education, right? Become educated on that investment. We've got a lot of great resources about IRAs and so on and so forth. But I think people, if they sit down and realize what gold has done, like I said, since 2000 and some of those types of things, they will educate themselves and become better investors over time.
Well, Kevin, we certainly are excited to have you on as a sponsor of the program. It's great whenever I, as a host, can get behind something that I absolutely, fully, 100% believe in, and that is gold and silver. And I'm definitely going to talk to you guys about moving over my IRA to a gold-backed one because that sounds like definitely a good idea for my future. Kevin Demerit, the founder of Lear Capital, thank you very much for your time today, and we're super grateful to have you here on the show. We'll talk to you again on my 2 p.m. radio program in St. Louis. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks, Austin.
Thank you very much. All right. What did you think of Kevin? Send us a text at 573-319-1586. That was a great interview, didn't you think? Did you learn something about it? Well, if you did, let us know. Send us a message over in the chat. We'd love to hear more from you. And don't forget, he will be joining us again on my afternoon radio program today at 2 p.m. Kevin Demerit. Isn't this exciting? We got a freaking sponsor, a gold sponsor. This is a big deal. Oh, so much excitement for the future. It started with the Cantina crew, and it's going to turn into a full-blown condominium development. We're going to start building hotels, houses and hotels, be like Monopoly. We're going to start moving in. Chris Morrill over here setting up shop. We got Camelia Peterson over there building her hotel. Steffi, my beautiful wife, she's just like working out the gold and the silver and the diamonds. Everybody's going to benefit. I promise you that this rising tide will lift all boats. Thank you so much for believing in me. Thank you for supporting the show, even in the few short months that we've had so far. We're just making huge, huge progress by leaps and bounds. All right, one more segment to go. What do you think we should talk about on the show? I just need a little break so that I can relax my poor strep throat. We'll be back with more on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.